Right now, though, we are joined by a person who seems to be a serial politician. He's already elected as a Labour Party MP, backbencher, and now he wants to have a crack at Wellington's mayoralty. His name's Paul Eagle, and he joins me on the line now. Paul, welcome to the program.
Good morning, Sean.
All right, now, let me get this clear. You are an MP, right? Elected MP in a seat. What's the seat again? It's my one, I think.
It's the seat of Rongotai, Wellington, East, Wellington South, and the almighty Chatham Island.
All right, okay. So, Paul, you've already got a job, right, in politics?
That's right.
Yeah, and you're pulling a good whack for that, I imagine?
Well, I'm pulling what the Remuneration Authority says.
Okay, what is that? What is that?
I think it's approximately about 160K.
160K a year. I think most of our listeners are going to think that's a pretty good whack, Paul, all right? So you're pulling 160K a year, but you want to run for Mayor of Wellington, or you've declared that you're going to run for Mayor of Wellington as well, right?
Well, Wellingtonians have asked me, many, to run for the mayor because the city's been going backwards in recent years and they want new leadership.
So you are responding to an overwhelming call from people for you to stand?
I had been completely overwhelmed with people coming from all different parts of Wellington, not just the Labour Party, but different business groups across the political spectrum.
Name four of them. Name four of them.
Name four of them? Well, one, I belong to a gym, and I've just been to my local F45 gym. 4 people there said to me,
"No, name them,
so
Paul.
happy that you're running finally."
Who are these people who are begging, falling on bended knee, begging you to run for Mayor of Wellington?
Lauren Woolley, there you go. Mal Lowry, the owner. I've got a friend, Tom Bateman. He's keen for me to run.
Yeah.
And my wife Miriam.
Okay, good on her. There's the most convincing argument you've got there, is the wife's told you to do it. Paul, have the Labour Party asked you to run for Mayor of Wellington?
The Labour Party are absolutely 100% behind me and keen to support me in this mayoralty I represent. I'm the best candidate in terms of their values and aspirations. Yeah. So come with their full support.
So you are an endorsed Labour Party candidate for mayor?
Look, Wellington wants a person who can put the city first. And to do that, standing as an independent and being transparent about my Labour heritage is the way that I've chosen to say.
Okay, so the Labour Party have endorsed your candidacy and they want you to stand, but you're not a Labour Party candidate?
That's correct.
Couldn't be more transparent than that, could we, Paul, really? Okay, while you are running, and I don't know what it takes to run a mayoral campaign, but I imagine if you're serious about it, it's pretty much a full-time gig, right?
Full-time. It's as of the 8th of July. I'm taking 3 months off, donating my salary to charity and focusing full-time on becoming Wellington's next mayor.
Okay, what charity are you donating?
I've got 2. I'm talking to 2 now, but all will be revealed, Sean.
Okay, why don't you just take your salary and pay someone else to do your job as an MP, which of course is the job that you stood for and committed to for 3 years?
Well, I'm taking leave from the House, so I'm actually donating my time.
Okay, how do you take leave from the House? Do you tell the Speaker you're taking leave?
You go through the Chief Whip and you apply.
Oh, so you tell the Labour Party you're taking leave. So the Labour Party have given you time off. But you're not a Labour... Hang on, but you're not a Labour Party candidate, right, Paul?
I'm not a Labour Party candidate, but I'm a Labour Party MP. So
and they've given you time off to run for Mayor of Wellington?
That's correct.
Okay, and what do you say to the people in your electorate who don't have an MP for the time you're running to be Mayor of Wellington?
But Sean, let me speak. This is what I was just going to say, is that constituents can still come to me. So there's no loss of service. I'm taking leave from the House, which means that if constituents still have issues, they can still contact me. And I've made that clear and transparent to Wellingtonians.
Yeah, but there is no way. If I was... let's put it in the real world, Paul. I've got a job, okay? I'm applying for another job, and I go to my employer, and they say, I've got to go and do a job interview. Would you give me time off for the job interview? It's going to take me a bit of time, but still pay me for doing the job I won't be doing while I go and do the job interview. How many employers would do that? How many employees would have the cheek to do that?
I think what Wellingtonians want is a mayor who can lead their city and fix the issues that matter most to them.
I think what your constituents want is a functional full-time MP, because that's what they voted for at the last election, Paul.
88% of Wellingtonians are upset with the direction of their city. I'm focused on a mayoral campaign. I'm making it clear to the voters of Wellington, this is what I'm doing. I'm being transparent. And ultimately, Sean, it will be up to the voters.
Voters, yeah. But it was up to the voters in your electorate who voted for you and expected to have someone to work for them for 3 years.
And I've made it clear they can still ring me, contact me.
Yeah, but you cannot be there for them at the level you were if you are busy contesting a mayoral election.
The issues facing Wellington, Sean, are so great that this is about a mayoral campaign and me campaigning.
Then why don't you do the decent thing and resign from Parliament and actually commit to running and fixing Wellington? Why don't you put your money where your mouth is? Because it seems to me right now, Mr. Eagle, you're having a bob each way.
I'm taking nothing for granted, Sean. I've made that clear.
That's clear. That's why you're hedging your bets.
My plan is to win the mayoralty. And the last time a Labour MP chose to stand as mayor, this was the sequence of events, and I'm following that.
Oh, so this is all precedent. So someone else was morally kind of questionable. That gives you permission to be morally questionable.
I think the issues of Wellington are so great, and they've made that clear. 88% of Wellingtonians are upset with the City Council, the direction that it's heading in. I've been clear about that. They've been clear about that. I'm here to put a challenge up and become Wellington's next mayor.
Okay, in real terms, your opposition is likely to be, if he runs again, incumbent Mayor Andy Foster. And strangely enough, the Green sort of Labour-endorsed candidate, Tory Whanau.
The Green Party candidate.
Oh, Green Party candidate. Okay, and you're the Labour Party candidate without being the Labour Party candidate, aren't you?
The Labour Party endorsed candidate, Sean.
All right. Look, another problem. I drove to work yesterday morning and bang, big picture of Paul Eagle up on a digital billboard as I drive down. I think it was Victoria, Wakefield Street. I understand that we are outside the period for campaigning and putting up billboards, right?
Well, first of all, don't they look great? And secondly, they're perfectly legal. This time, 3 years ago, 3 candidates, I understand, had billboards up. The council hasn't changed its policy. Why is it wrong?
Okay, so you're saying it's not wrong?
Absolutely not, and I've got a legal opinion to prove it. The issue is that the city's made a mistake. I actually now understand how Wellingtonians feel when they deal with Wellington City Council. When they are wrong, they don't front up, and they should issue a retraction.
Okay, so you're saying your billboards are legal and you're not going to take them down?
Correct. 3 candidates at this time 3 years ago had billboards up.
Okay, were any of them admonished, or did any of them fall foul of the law?
No.
Okay, all right. Open season on billboards then. They are quite bright.
Well, you had Nick Leggett who stood. You had Justin Lester who stood. And I understand, and people have texted me to say Joe Coughlin also had billboards up. So 3 candidates had them up at the same time 3 years ago. So why is it that when I'm committed to the people of Wellington and put a billboard up, it's a problem?
So once again, if someone else has perhaps broken the law, I can.
Well, the city needs to be clear, and a legal opinion.
Okay, why did you have to go and get a legal opinion? Or when did you get that legal opinion? Before you put the billboards up?
This week, because we had already been clear about the rules. I know the rules back to front, and so I put them up knowing that, and I was quite surprised to be contacted from the electoral officer. All
right, well, moving past some of the idiosyncrasies of your staying on as an MP, pulling the money and running for mayor, and the billboards, let's talk Wellington. Give me the 3 biggest areas where you believe Wellington needs change and how you would implement it. The 3 things, 3 policies.
Wellington needs to get back to basics, Sean, and deliver a blueprint for the next decade of action. And under my leadership, fixing pipes. That's what Wellington
I like that idea. Yep.
Well, on Sunday, a 100-year-old pipe bursting.
Yeah. No, okay, we've got pipes. Policy number one is pipes. Policy number two.
Parks and public transport go with that in terms of the basics. The next big issue will be housing, so master planning our neighbourhoods. There's been a lot of talk around saying, lots of issues around housing. I want to master plan our neighbourhoods with a focus on affordability. That's number two. Yeah. And we'll be a city of inclusive and healthy neighbourhoods underpinned by our cultural creativity. So it's putting the mojo back into the city, Sean.
Okay.
Putting a heart soul back into Wellington.
Okay, all right.
That's number three.
Okay. What do you think of I never really believe in the proposed transport plan that came out, yesterday, to turn Mount Vic Tunnel into a pedestrian cycleway?
Well, look, this is a plan that's exciting because finally we've got a decision, but we need spades in the ground, and that's what Wellingtonians want. Many have waited 100 years to get certainty over a second tunnel, and I think the call has been, no one's going to get everything perfectly in terms of those lobby groups and a whole bunch of Wellingtonians who are for this and against that. The call I put out to people is, look, let's get on board, let's get together, and let's get those spades in the ground. This is our chance.
All right. Paul, what happens if you don't get the mayoralty? Do you go back and beg the forgiveness of the people of your electorate and stand again in Rongotai?
Oh, look, I'm focused on winning this mayoral campaign with the full support of most Wellingtonians behind me, hopefully.
Yeah.
But I'm not thinking about that yet. I'm thinking solely about the campaign.
Well, if you're thinking solely about the campaign, why don't you resign as an MP? Because there's going to have to be, there's going to have to be a by-election if you win the mayoralty, right?
I take nothing for granted, Sean.
Which is why you're hedging your bets. But I'm just trying to, in the interest of the public purse and democratic representation, Paul, why don't you resign now? Why don't you put your eggs in your basket? Why don't you back yourself?
I've been clear to voters. My salary will be donated to a charity or charities.
Yeah, you won't do your job
for 3 months.
Yeah.
And I still continue to service them.
And you'll come back and you'll take the money again if you fail in your mayoral candidacy, right?
I will absolutely be in this race to win and be the next mayor of Wellington.
Yeah, well, I don't see why you don't resign the day job then. Paul Eagle, a lot of water to flow under the bridge. I thank you for your time this morning. That is Paul Eagle, MP. Well, I don't know, is he the MP for Rongotai now? Or he's just a guy running for mayor who's billing the wages of the person who should be the MP for Rongotai. Look, I'm glad he's in the race. He's not a bad dude.